get off the plane, I walk through immigration in Medellin and talk to the border security guy, and he says, hey, like, how long are you planning to stay? And I said, well, I should have 70 days left on my passport, so if you can please stamp it for 70 days, that would be great. And then he's working away on his computer, looking at my passport, looking at the previous stamps. And then he stops and he's like, oh, you've done the math. And I kind of smiled and I was like, yeah, I did the math. And then he said, okay, bienvenido, welcome to Colombia. And what is interesting though about this story is that it was clearly surprising to him that I knew how many further days I had left in the country, which you would think is a very simple thing to do. It's simple math, doesn't take that long. But most people that are coming in and out haven't even done that. And they don't even really know how long they're going to be able to stay. They wait for the border security officer to tell them, rather than using this simple formula, pulling out the calculator on the phone, figuring out how many days they have left and planning around that and knowing internally. And for me, one of the immigration lawyers I had spoken with here said, make sure that the border security does the math correctly, because this is some probably low-paid Colombian dealing with thousands of people a day, and he could easily make a mistake on the math, and I can get shortchanged on my number of days, whatever. Now, the bigger theme this connects to in life is something I've learned through a few different places recently, is that the average person is not meticulous about their own life. They don't check their own numbers. They put a lot of trust in authority and in the people that are supposed to have their best interests at heart. And they just don't have a high level of conscientiousness towards their own life. Another example of this that I recently experienced, which is probably a topic for a much longer video, but I had to have a procedure done on my eye to correct an issue. And I noticed what I identified as a strange side effect from this issue, and I had to talk to the doctor and arrange like a special appointment for them to look at it and take my concerns seriously. And upon investigation, they said, oh yeah, you're right. The surgeon actually made a mistake and there is this side effect. And they're like, it's very, very rare that this happens. And, you know, I got to talking to the doctor a little bit more and just thinking about the hoops I had to jump through just to get inspected for this. And the doctor actually eventually admitted, he was like, yeah, this actually probably happens more than we're aware of. It's just most patients don't notice when it happens. And I thought to myself, I mean, and that's crazy. Wouldn't you be quite vigilant around a part of your body that had to recently undergo a medical procedure to ensure that it was done correctly, there's no unintended side effects? But again, it's this example of most people outsource a lot of their autonomy and decision-making power to the people that are supposed to know what they're doing. And where that gets more dangerous is a lot of the systems that are built, from airport security guards to medical professionals, are built with that average person in mind. They're built with the understanding that most people don't have the conscientiousness and the focus to really analyze their life in detail and know when something isn't quite right. So you're almost designed to not detect these errors when they happen. And if you just go along with the systems, then there's a reasonable chance that you're going to get shortchanged in some way, in some system, one way or another. And what I think is becoming increasingly important, especially if you live in a country where a lot of the systems are publicly funded, is you need to not blindly trust those authorities. There's a Russian proverb that I love, which says, trust but verify. And the reason why I love that proverb is because you can still have the energy of being a trusting person and not to be a cynic and someone that doesn't trust anyone, but know that most things in life you need to verify for yourself. And if you don't verify, you're exposing yourself to being taken advantage of, or to just being a victim of a system that doesn't work that well or isn't that accurate. And a lot of these systems are run by humans that sometimes have bad days, sometimes are in a bad mood, sometimes didn't sleep well the night before, oftentimes are very disengaged with their jobs, and it makes sense they're going to make human errors. So, hope this brings you guys some value. And the last thing I'll leave this video with is what I've found is that often in kind of going up against these big systems and self-advocating and not taking what authority says as the truth, it feels a little bit intimidating. Even as someone who has a high level of self-confidence, it is daunting to tell a border security guard, hey, I think your math is wrong. Tell the doctor, hey, I don't think this was checked for properly. And I think it's really important both for my success, the success of you watching this video, and even to improve these systems as a whole, is that we have the courage to question those things. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.